Chronicles.
What's good, fam? I'd like to welcome y'all to Brown Boy Chronicles, experiencing stories of 3 first-gen brown boys and 1 foreigner/immigrant brown boy just out here growing up in the States. We'd like for you to join in our challenges, our come-ups, our glow-ups, our struggles, and just overall our lives. We hope y'all enjoy.
Hey guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Brown Boy Chronicles. This is Deech.
This is Harvey.
This is Lucky.
It's KB.
So we decided to bring on our friend Anmol A.K.A. for this week's episode to shine a light on more brown creatives. Anmol is a music producer / finance guy based in Chicago. He grew up with Harvey and Lucky in Harrisburg, and then him and I became friends during our time at Pitt. He's been working for the last few years to hone his craft, and we really wanted to help share his story. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Anmol. I'm 24-year-old, first-generation Indian Canadian. My parents immigrated to Canada, and we moved to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, where I grew up. I just wanted to say thanks to the Brown Boy Chronicles team for hosting me. It was an awesome time talking to you guys. Love to be back later.
But yeah, went to Pitt, and then Pitt's where I kind of started, actually, I got into music. I can,
We'll get into that, part, later, you know,
All right, word. So then, that's basically my background, but...
Why'd you decide Pitt of all schools?
I took the SAT. My parents made me take the SAT until I broke 2000.
What? Wait, how many times did you have to take it?
Just twice.
Oh, okay.
But it was still shitty. So
imagine if you fucked up 5-6 times.
Dude, I couldn't do that. It was terrible. And so then I applied to Temple, Pitt. I filled out the Penn State application halfway, and then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to that school, so I'm not even going to fill it out. And then Drexel.
Oh, so your goal was stay relatively close to home?
PA cities. And then I also threw out some reach ones. Obviously, you're going to apply to an Ivy League school just to see what happens. You never know. Yeah. So I applied.
Which one did you pick?
Princeton. Yeah. Didn't get in.
Yeah, I applied to Princeton too, but I didn't get in.
Yeah, I was I opened the application. It was 3 700-word essays. I was like, this is already chalked. There's no way. And then I got into Pitt, and I went for my visit. And, Pittsburgh, it was rainy and cold and shitty, but I already knew some people there, and a lot of people from my the grade above me who graduated in high school, they already went there. So I went for my visit, and I hung out with them and walked around the city. I was like, all right, this is cool.
Yeah.
So I went to Temple.
Familiarity, that's dope.
Yeah, exactly. And Temple was the same way. It just ended up being Pitt over Temple. I just picked because then I was in pre-med. So if I would have known that I was going to finish college doing business, I actually would have went to Fox, because that's a better business school than Pitt, but I didn't know.
Did your parents make you do pre-med?
They didn't make me. I was they guided me heavily down that path, right? But at the end of the day, I know that I could have been yo, I'm going to do, but I didn't have all the options, right? I had computer science, business. Even then, business was kind of to my parents, business is what they do.
You said your mom is in pharmacy, but your dad is also in medicine, or no? No. My dad had stores when we were younger, right? And so that's when I say business to my dad thinks about running and operating convenience stores and gas stations. Blue collar business.
Right. I'm yeah. And it's you can do other stuff in business. So they were just do a pre-law, a pre-med, or computer science or something like that. So I picked the hardest major at Pitt, and I sucked at it.
What was your major?
It was bioinformatics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was insane course load, and I was not ready for it, and just screwed around. And then my junior year, I was yo, I can't do this anymore. I was studying for an organic chem 2 exam, and I was that's it, yo. I called my parents right there. I FaceTimed my parents right there. I was this isn't it. And we were about to go to India and stuff, and it was a bad time to do that. But yeah, and then
so
I switched.
You did 2 years, and then you switched.
Did 2.5 years, and then I switched to the business school, and it ended up making me have an extra semester. So I was not 5th year, but 1 semester of a 5th year. Yeah.
Do you still remember when you what was the straw that just broke the camel's back? What made you do you still remember it?
Yeah, totally. I was trying to remember, memorize those reaction pathways,
Oh, the synthesis of
yeah, the synthesis ones in organic chemistry. And I was like really drilling it. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I don't care about this. It's like, this is the last thing I want to do in my life. And then honestly, like I picked finance on a whim too. I just was like, all right, which one of these business school majors is going to get me a job?
I feel like finance is like the best one though, because it like covers like all aspects of business.
Right.
You can go business, finance, because it's like a little bit of marketing, a little bit of everything.
Exactly. If you do like accounting or finance, you're straight. So then I just switched to the finance, and I really grinded when I switched my major, because my parents were like, well, now you got to figure it out. And then I figured it out, and then I got a job. I work still in like healthcare ish. I work in molecular imaging right now. So like they make like PET scans, SPEC scanner, CT scanner, stuff like that. So
sick.
But
was there like a cultural shift, would you say, going from like a small, I guess not even Mechanicsburg isn't even that small, but like white ass Mechanicsburg to like Pitt? I mean, like, don't get us wrong. Like, I feel like Pitt, in my opinion, is still pretty white.
Yeah.
But definitely there is a little bit more diversity. So did you enjoy that diversity, or like, do you think it was not that much like of a difference?
I don't know. I feel like it was definitely an increase in diversity, but then again, I grew up. It's tough to like generalize or like put people into buckets, but like when you're in high school and there's other Indian kids at high school. Like I'll use an example. All you guys know Aman.
Yeah.
Right. Aman and I were like the two Indian kids at our high school who weren't like going to fall into the Indian kid bucket. You know what I mean? Like,
Everyone was like glued by the hip. Like,
right. Yeah. And like, I was like, yo, if Aman's hanging out with the white kids, I'm going to make friends with white kids too. Cause like, I don't want to be like just this brown kid that everyone ignores. And
what's your age difference between you two?
We're the same age.
Oh, okay. But like, how many months is it?
Two. Literally.
Oh shit. Damn.
Yeah. And so shout out to Deech for knowing that.
Dude, I just know birthdays really well.
Bro, I don't know anyone's birthdays.
You're March, right? Like March 17th?
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I am good.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yo.
I just missed my like best friend's birthday like 2 days ago. I'm so bad with that. That's wild. But yeah, and then there's like I just didn't want to be like in that bucket of kids where they're just like you get overlooked because you're just like hanging out with all the other brown kids, and like plus I was like friends with some of these guys already. So like if I had to just like my lunch table in high school was like Hispanic kids, white kids, like the two black kids at our school, and then like me, I'm in like maybe like one other like Arab kid or something like that. So we had like a pretty diverse group to start with, and I was cool with like everyone at school basically. And so when I got to Pitt, I felt like it was kind of the same way. It's like, you can like, you have your like group of like Indian friends who are like your close homies. And then like, you also have other big groups of friends who are like also your homies too, but they're not like separate. I feel like in college, they're less separate. In college, like they kind of like come together. Like definitely had all my, like not even just Punjabi, but just all my homies who were brown, like coming to like our house, and I lived with like 5 white kids. And then it was just like, felt like there was more of it coming together at Pitt. In high school, it was like, you go to so-and-so's house and like you hang out with all your Indian friends.
You still talk to people in high school, or have you kind of like drifted away from that circle?
I mean, a lot of kids that I went to high school with went to Pitt. So like, I don't really count them. So not counting them, there's only like 2 people I talked to from high school.
So how was like going to Pitt or whatever, like, how you have more freedom than you are back home? Like, how was that? Like going out and stuff?
That's totally what screwed me being pre-med. Like, I'll say this, like in the background part of this, like, podcast, like my parents, I got so lucky with like Punjabi parents who are like pretty modern about things. Also, I will say there's a bias because we're all dudes. So like my parents weren't going to like tell my sister like, oh, take the car, go out, stay out as late as you want. You can come back whenever. Right. But for me, it was like, go for it. And so I had a lot of like experiences and stuff. Like I did shit in high school, but I didn't like drink in high school really, or like anything like that. And so when I got to college and, you get a taste of that as a freshman, you can easily like go overboard with it. And just being like a dumbass, just like not studying. And I just wasn't focused on what I needed to be focused on freshman year.
I mean, it's just because it's like your first time in college, your first time away from home. You're just trying to experience everything. You're not like just there to study.
Exactly.
You're there to do everything else too.
I think almost like all brown people go through this phase because like the whole life you're just fucking sheltered. and then like, you have that like little bit of drip of freedom, and you just go wild with it. I feel like we've all had like things that we regret doing, fuck up.
No doubt.
But like it's like a process you gotta go through. It's like this like I don't even know what the word is, but like, or you like move up like this tunnel that you got to cross at some point in life. College is that tunnel.
Dude, legit,
that's true.
Legit, my first party at Pitt was like the cops came and I was like, what the fuck? You know, I would never been more scared in my life. I was like, yo, I'm gonna get called right now. It's like first time out. Like my parents are gonna fucking yell at me.
Like we would screw around in high school, like, you know, well, like basically like when high school, when you live in central Pennsylvania, all you can do is like get in a car and drive around and smoke. And so we were like used to like being stoned in public and seeing the cops and being like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do? And then so at college that didn't really like none of that stuff like shocked me. And that's why I mean to say like my parents were lenient, because like a lot of my friends, brown friends' parents would be like scam calling their phones at midnight if they weren't at home, right?
Do your rents know you smoke and stuff, or like catch on?
No, they know.
I thought you said like they like, caught you guys like.
No, they know a little bit.
Parents, right?
Bro, Alman came into my house one day and he had a cart, and like you know like how the cart screws onto the battery. I'm totally exposing him for this, but it happened. And he's like comes in to say like "Sat Sri Akal" to my parents in the kitchen. He walks in and he like goes like this, and the cart and the battery both fly out of his pocket and hit the floor. And like he like picks them up in front of my parents and like puts them away. And like, you know, it does. What is that? Like even to our parents who don't know anything, they're gonna be like, that's something, right?
Yeah,
like,
your dad is working the store. Like he knows what all.
Right? Yeah, he knows what that shit is. So he's like, I don't know. We went to chill, and then later that day, my dad was like, "Yo, what was that?" I was like, "Oh, it's a vape," and whatever. I explained it to him, and they don't care as long as like, dude. At this point, I feel like at this point, if they find out, it doesn't matter because I don't know. I live in my own place and I pay my own bills now, and like, you know, I'm not living in their house. If I was living in their house and they're like, "Don't do this," I probably wouldn't do it.
Yo, going back to when you made that switch and like your degree, what was that conversation like on their end? When you told them like right before you're going to India and stuff, like
right, definitely my mom was really upset because then I was like, my first thing was like there's a audio engineering course at Carnegie Mellon, and I was like, oh, I might try to like transfer into that and like be an engineer. And my mom did not like that idea. Like my dad doesn't care. My dad's sort of like, he did the stores for a while, sold the stores. He's not doing the stores anymore. Now he just like drives.
Your dad is mad chill. Like to like, pay respect to your dad. Like just knowing him from like little interactions, like he's really, like, laid back.
He doesn't really care that much. And he's like, yo, you'll figure it out. Like just, work hard is his thing. It's like, whatever you're doing, you got to like, grind for it. Otherwise you're not going to get anywhere with anything. And so my mom was like on my case about like picking a major that was going to get me a job.
Did she beat your ass?
Oh, both of them did. There's no discrimination. Both of them did. When I was a kid, bro, it was free smoke from either of them.
Your sister also became a pharmacist, right? Mm-hmm. So you probably had that pressure as well.
Right. And my sister was like really smart. Like I did good in school. But like my sister would be like, top 10 out of 700 students in our class. And I was not. So it definitely like they would make that comparison often and be like, oh, Jessica's was like 10 out of 700 students. You're in the hundreds. I was like, yeah, that's still pretty good. And it's like, it's not like she did the pharmacy degree heavily based off my mom's recommendation. She doesn't hate it. I think she kind of likes what she does. It's definitely lucrative. So my mom made a point in that was like, you will make money if you do this and you get a job. So but yeah, they were like not cool with the idea of me doing the audio engineering degree because it's so like pigeonholed.
I remember seeing like a shift in like your total mindset, like when overall mindset, like when we were like sophomores. We met sophomore year at like some day long, and then I remember junior year, like I like was trying to like. I know. I think you were trying. Like I was like, "Yo, you going out tonight?" And you're like, "Nah, I'm gonna work on my like beats or something." I came through your place at Parkview and I saw your whole setup and shit.
Yeah, I remember.
That's what you were doing like the rest of the time. I think when you were like making the switch still, so you were like doing like your semester to like catch up or whatever. But
yep, exactly. You have to take all like the entry business school classes before they let you like be in the business school. If you switch from like arts and sciences to business, it's like a whole semester of classes. So, but yeah, when I made that switch, then I was like, okay, if I'm doing business, like I'm just gonna go hard with the music stuff and try and like really like lock in. And that's how I started like actually being an engineer in Pittsburgh and stuff. So yeah, that's actually a good segue. I mean, right around that time was when I started getting invited to like sessions at the studio in Pittsburgh. And so then I started going there, and then the dude who invited me there was like, I'll teach you how to use these programs, and like the certain programs that I didn't know how to use already and all the equipment they had there. And he taught me how to use it. And then they basically just like slid me, not even a job, but like there was a studio room. So there's like probably like 15 studio rooms in that studio. It's not in Pittsburgh. It's in Etna. It's called ID Labs. And it's like,
oh shit, you worked at ID Labs?
Yeah, for like 6 months, and then the pandemic hit, and then I stopped.
Because they like produce for like Wiz and like Mac, right? Like early.
Yeah.
On.
So the guy who owns it, Edan, he's like the guy who broke Wiz and Mac and like a couple other guys. But they have like the whole basement is Taylor Gang. Like you can't go down there unless you get invited to a session. So we were upstairs, and like the upstairs was like studios A, B, and C. And the guy who ran the B room knew me, and he said like, if you ever want to run studio like sessions out of the B room, like feel free. So then I just made my own schedule with the people that I was already recording, and then just invite them to that studio instead of my place and record.
You ever try sneaking down there?
I mean, like we would go down there, like if you were working there, you had to like clean.
Oh, okay.
And like, this is after college. So basically what happened was I switched my major. I go into finance. I'm like a half a year off from like my graduation class. And so I get an internship like my junior year, which was technically my senior year. So when I did my internship, I got a full-time job summer of 2019. I still had to go back and finish one semester of school to graduate in December of 2019. So I got the full-time offer, and that like the job I do now, that didn't start until July of 2020. So I had like 6 months, and even more before that, like during my last semester in Pittsburgh. So it was like almost a year, but the pandemic cut it short around March. But I would just like work in that studio and just take as many sessions as I could. I don't know. I would charge anywhere from between like $30 to $50 an hour. And then like, I would give people like deals if they would like use my beats instead of.
So you were doing the engineering and also like the production too.
So like you basically just make beats in your free time, like in between sessions. If I'm waiting for someone to pull up, then I just like make beats as much as I can, play them when they walk in there. And most dudes will just walk in and they'll say like, oh, type in NBA Youngboy type beat on YouTube. and they already know, like they know the thumbnail of the one that they want to record on. And they're like, yeah, it's that one. And then you YouTube to MP3, download it, pull it into the session, and then they record on that shit. So it's definitely way harder trying to get your beats to artists, like even like Pittsburgh dudes. And it's all
dope though. Like that's smart. Like, yo, they're just walking in, you got the beat,
right?
Your beat. Like if
it's like, oh yeah, you like this? All right, yeah, buy it. Yeah.
So wait, how did you go about getting this gig in ID Labs? Did you just cold email this guy?
No. So there was a kid I knew. It's the wildest story. This kid I knew in like middle school, who I went to middle school with, who I was friends with. He ended up he moved from our middle school to like some place in PA, somewhere far away. Never talked to him again after that. Then he moved to Pittsburgh to go to Duquesne. And then I met up with him there. We like met each other in the South Side randomly. And his buddy is that guy. And so he's like, oh, I know you like make beats and stuff. You should hang out with my buddy Garrett. And then he just like gave me the play and just like let me go to that room whenever and like watch him take sessions. Like I would watch him record people so I could like learn what to do and stuff. And then, yeah, I don't know, I guess we were just friends anyways. And then he was like, you can use the studio room. It was real casual. It was like, there was no.
What really started this like interest in like music production, and how did you initially start learning?
So I was like probably in 7th grade, and in middle school, I was like nice with computers, and I could like, torrent stuff and like get Adobe Photoshop and get all these programs. Like as a kid, I knew how to do that because my cousin showed me. And so I used to listen to like EDM, and I wanted to make EDM. So I went on YouTube, typed in like EDM tutorial, and the first video I clicked on had this program in it. And I was like, all right, I guess I need that. So I downloaded that. I pirated this copy of Ableton. And then like, I obviously sucked at it. I'm like, 12 or 13, trying to make EDM music, no experience. I play no instruments, never learned like any music theory besides like, what you do in music class at school. And I I sucked at it obviously for like the first 5 years, but I think just because I started so early, by the time I was like 17, 18, I started actually like figuring out the program, because I didn't like go into it as a kid and be like, let me learn how the program works first, or like be logical. I would like
Ableton is like one of the hardest programs I feel like to learn. Like it's one of the most sophisticated ones.
Right. And like, if you're a kid, you don't know what you're doing. You can't really even follow the instructions. Right. So like I would open up the program, try to do something, get pissed that it wasn't working, and then like close it. And then like doing that so much taught me how to use it actually. So then.
Damn, that's crazy. So this whole time, like when we knew each other, you were essentially already like making beats and shit.
I was making beats, but I wasn't putting them anywhere, because obviously they were.
Yeah, but you were getting those hours in, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, that repetition, and now it's like paying off.
Right. And then in like freshman year of college was when I started emailing beats to rappers. And instead of like, I didn't know how to email beats to like big rappers. So I would just find like Instagrams of like Pittsburgh dudes, and then just like find their emails, and then just send them a bunch of beats. And I was like, yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh, blah, blah, blah. Here's a bunch of beats.
True.
Did you get any reply back then, or?
Not really. Like I would send the email, or like ask for the email in the Instagram DM. And then if they reply with the email, I'd be like, yo, I sent you some beats. And they'll be like, okay, cool. I'll check it out. But these guys,
did anybody just like rip your beats, like not to give you any credit? And like,
yeah, of course.
Damn.
It always happens. And then they'll tell you they're going to pay you and stuff, and then they don't. Right. So it always happens, but you can like take down their music if you really want to get into it. But like, I just don't really care enough. Like it's got like 15,000 plays on YouTube. Like it's not that big a deal. But
how did you go about like making like your contracts and stuff for all this stuff?
I don't even know how it works still. People will just DM me and they're like, yo, how much for beats? And I'll give them my price, and then I'll just send them the file if they pay me.
Do you know how royalty works?
Yeah, dude, that's an entirely different world. Like you gotta like know what, like, it's like royalties, publishing, mechanicals, all these different points. Like if you don't have a lawyer doing that stuff for you, like, and you get a big record as like a random person, they can really screw you over. Like they know, dude, do you know, Ish's cousin?
Yeah.
Dude,
we're trying to get him. He's with Comethazine, yo.
Yo, bro, he goes crazy. No, not even just Comethazine. Like songs will drop and like they'll just have his name on it. Like he's crazy.
Yeah, we have no idea. I just like really found out about him. Like I want to say like 3 weeks ago. Bro, and, like I was just awestruck. Like what the fuck? How does man come? Like that kid has like seen go from like a little toddler.
Right. Yeah. Like how? It doesn't. And like I have no clue. I've obviously never seen him.
Have you ever reached out? Like, have you ever tried collabing or anything?
No, not really. Cause like, I don't even know how he made that play in the first place. Like he might have like, someone might've gave him that play. So I don't want to like beg, it's like, but he's already killing it. That's sick to see. Like, it's awesome.
We're going to reach out. We want to reach out to him as well and like get him on, because that's like a next level come up.
Bro, that's next level.
Like,
and
he's
like
in the shadows.
He is. And he's got like I don't know. He's got Instagram followers, and like people are always like, yo, check your DMs. People are like banging his line to really like work with him. So that's cool. Good for him.
Yeah, I'll show you this one kid too. He lived 3 floors above me in Tower A. He was one of my boys throughout college, but he like made beats for like Trippie Redd, Future, Nav.
What's his name?
Weston Weiss.
Oh yeah, him.
He made
Weston Weiss,
the white boy.
Yeah, I met him at ID really early.
Shit.
Yeah, but I mean, he's next level. He made like Going Bad and like Tap.
Yeah. He was one of my boys too. I mean, he used to literally like stay in all the fucking time, and we'd go over to his house to pregame, and he'd just be making beats and shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the new way to get into the industry is like you make melodies. You don't even make full beats. You make like the melody for the beat, and then you send it to a bigger producer, and they put like an 808 and drums on it. And then so the bigger producer has the play to the artist. And so then they'll like play it for them. And that's how if you want a Sway Lee placement, or if you want like one of those big artists to get on your beats, like as an underground, like unknown person, you have to like get an email, like get like Southside's email, or like get Metro Boomin's email. Those are like reach examples, but like even smaller producers, like it's crazy. There's a lot of guys on Instagram and on YouTube who have like maybe 400 followers who have like placements with like all these guys, just because nobody knows who they are, and their name gets buried. Because like if I send a melody to Metro Boomin and they make a song with like Travis Scott, it comes out, my name's not going to be anywhere on that. Like they'll bury your name. They'll pay you as much as you ask for to like be like not a part of it. So
Damn,
that shit happens a lot. Like I know so many people who have like random placements with big artists and they don't get paid a single cent. So
Wait, so Anmol, are you like taking like precautions now when you send out stuff? Like, are you like to reach like the next level? Are you like kind of thinking it, planning ahead, like how you want to navigate, or is
it depends. It depends, because I feel like if you get to like, for example, if someone says, "Oh, here's my email, send me like melodies or send me samples," and then you first thing, like without knowing them, they're like a bigger producer, right? You don't know them at all. First thing you do is you send them a contract. They're going to be like, I don't want to work with this person. Like, you know, you're like not making it about music first. You're like coming at them from a business angle. Like you're already like expecting a placement too. Like basically what you're saying is like, oh, I know you're going to use this and get so-and-so to hop on it. So here's my paperwork up front. So usually I just send like WAV files, MP3 files. I feel like if something sticks, if like I find out that I did get a big placement, I feel like I'll be able to like get a lawyer or someone to like work out the contract. I don't know.
So how does that like I honestly, I'm just ignorant. I don't know how that works. How do you like show like you kind of created this? Is like you have like how do you trademark it? That is.
I think if you have like the source file,
NFT that shit.
Yeah, NFT that shit, and then they have to buy your beats, bro. People are trying to do that. That's like a new thing, like for sure. I don't know anything about. I'm not a crypto guy at all, so like no clue. But
is there not like a platform that you can just sell your beats instead of like? I feel like. It's it's like a hustle to like even like get in contact with people, like the way you're describing it, just like sending people messages, emails and stuff like that.
You could put like beats on BeatStar or like one of these websites and then have people like, if you're good with like search engine optimization, like ad revenue, stuff like that, try and get people like click funnel into your beat store. But like, I feel like the place where I've made any money at all is just like going straight to the people that I'm around, like the Pittsburgh guys. They like know me and they know I'm like, I don't know, like a reputable person. So if I sell them a beat, like they're willing to buy it from me versus like some random dude in like middle of nowhere. Like I have people buy beats off my website stores every now and then. It just gives you a notification and you have no clue who bought it. So
what if you sold the beat and you hear the trash as verse on your beat? What do you think?
Dude, that happens all the time. That would happen to me constantly. Like when you record like 5 sessions in a day and all 5 of these guys are rappers from Pittsburgh who have no presence at all. Like, you think they're going to be that killer? They suck sometimes. You can't say anything. You just keep recording and just, keep your head down. Don't talk much. But it's like, or like one of these dudes will be like, one of them is the rapper and they'll bring their like goons with them. And then their goons are sitting in the studio session, like falling asleep. And he'll be like, no, one of you guys hop on the track. And they're not rappers at all. Like trying to like teach them how to like hop on the beat. So yeah, it happens all the time. And I usually just like don't even ask them to credit me. I only ask for a credit if it's a good song. Like I only want my name to be on it if it's like quality. Cause like
Anmol, have you ever watched Atlanta?
No,
okay.
Not all of it. But like,
yeah, no. There's like this scene in Atlanta where like there's this audio engineer and producer. He's like with some rapper, and like the software was just like fucking up, and like the rapper was just like giving him pressure. So it's like, is that like, since you like work with like, at least what we saw was like Vondu, they look like street dudes, bro. Like
I mean, like it's wild. They are street dudes, but
hey, you ever get nervous in the studio, like the Glocks in the wrist, like in the waist?
I mean, like I'm not giving them problems. If anything, I'm like helping them, right? So like, yeah, I don't know. Luckily I've never been in a situation where like the software isn't working and like I'm
that was just like a scenario, like
no, people never got like aggressive towards me, because like most of these guys, like you record them once, then you like, if you like give them genuine, if they're open to critique, they're the only street dudes that I actually recorded were like the ones who were like, yo, they would listen to you if you're like, yo, try doing it this way instead of the way you're doing it now, it might sound better. Like those dudes are genuinely like, they're normal people and they're our age. That's the crazy thing. It's like you'll meet a dude who's like from the hood in Pittsburgh and like they just like seem a lot older, and then you ask them how old they are, and then you're like the same age. Like Jimmy Wapo was our age.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't think about it. So like they're like,
what happened with that whole situation? I remember when it was like our junior year or something. It was like after he passed, right?
Yeah.
Like
So that
RIP.
was an example. Yeah. RIP Jimmy Wapo. That's an example of sending a ton of emails or a ton of beats to a random email, because he tweeted one time while he was still alive, like probably sophomore year of college. He tweeted, "Oh, we need beats for this session. Like, send all beats here." And I sent him like 30. And then he recorded on one, and then his homie recorded on another. His homie recorded on two. And
Homie as in is like Hardo or like somebody else?
No, some random dude. And so they recorded 3 songs. I've never heard the one with Jimmy Wapo on it, because then they posted an Instagram snippet, but I never I don't have it anymore. I didn't screen record it.
Yeah.
And then I don't even think my phone had that whenever that happened. So that I knew about it because the snippet that he posted on his Instagram story, one of my engineer friends was like, "Yo, this is your beat." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I didn't think that much about it, because he wasn't even that big at that point. He had 1 or 2 big songs, and I was like, "That's cool. He's a Pittsburgh guy. That's awesome. We'll see if the song comes out." Obviously. And then he passed, and then the song never came out. But then literally first day of classes, junior year, I'm sitting in class, and I get back to my house, and I open up Instagram, and Jimmy Wapo's story is the first thing that's on my top feed. Click on his story, and it's his homie's song, but I produced it too. And they put my name and my Instagram on there. And then that's when people associated it to me.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. So that was cool, but never got to meet him.
Do you care about credit?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I'm weird about that now. Sometimes, we were saying, people make a song that you just don't want to put your name on. and then if I recorded you, if I engineered the session, if I mixed it and mastered it, I don't really care as much for a credit on that versus if I produced it. If I know you're going to get eyes on it, like Wandu is a good example. He's got maybe 9,000 followers. There's another guy named SA. He's got 5,000 followers. If you're going to get that many eyes on it, I want you to tag me and say that I produced it, just so I can spread the word that I'm selling beats.
Build your credibility.
How else do you go about promoting yourself?
I tried everything. At this point, it's just I have my circle of people that I send beats to, and I'm just trying to make music with them. And I still actively send out samples to these bigger contacts that I've made. I know a couple of guys, I don't know them personally, but I've Instagram DM and text them and email them samples, and they think I'm talented. So they're nice to me, but they work with the biggest artists. I have their phone numbers in my phone, but I only text them when I send them a sample. And one of them is Sway Lee's producer, and he'll literally text me and be "Load me up with samples. I'm going to Sway's house tonight." And I've seen him on Instagram Live, playing my stuff in front of him.
Oh, that's dope.
Unless he records to it, and those guys record. The way I put it is if you're trying to get a major placement, that's quantity over quality. You just got to be spamming out samples like crazy, and because those guys record 15 songs in a night. And then what are the odds that the one song that they recorded on your beat is going to make it to that album? If they have 10,000 songs to pick from and 15 go on an album, it's you got to really grind for that. So now it's just sort of, I'll post a beat on Instagram every now and then if I like it. When I really enjoy the beat and I just want to share it, I'll post it on Instagram. And then sometimes that usually actually generates me my most business. It's someone will see it and be "Yo, can I buy this one?" And I'll say, "Yeah." And then that's basically it.
You keep your account on public?
Yeah, it's on public, but I have 1,000 followers, nothing crazy. So
Yo, why don't you rap yourself? Or
I'm not a rapper.
Or make a song or something. I don't know.
I mean, everyone fucks around. When you're in the studio in between sessions, you have all this equipment at your disposal. Me and my buddies would definitely make songs, but they're not coming out ever.
Wait, so Anmol, I have a question regarding how your operation, essentially. It seems what you want to do, is tighten your circle, and just whatever comes out comes within your circle. Is that can you think of areas within your operation, process improvement wise, where you kind of want to handle it a different way, but it obviously takes time, and with your actual work getting right too.
The biggest barrier is actual work, to be honest, dude. And then because the way I could branch out and expand here now that I moved to Chicago is to go to studios here. Mm-hmm. But for example,
what part of Chicago are you in, by the way?
I'm in Lincoln Park, so it's up north. But so if I wanted to go to a session here, I don't have a link who would let me come for free. So I would have to pay. And it's not like big city studios are really expensive. Like Pittsburgh was like, most dudes in there were charging $70 an hour, and that was like expensive for Pittsburgh, but that was the nicest studio there. Like even the shitty ones here charge like 150 an hour. So there's that. So like, I feel like, 2 hours to make a connection with someone is like $300 is a lot of money to drop just like for a maybe. Mm-hmm. So right now my biggest barrier is that I just moved to like a new city. All the guys who were used to seeing me in Pittsburgh, I didn't like give them a heads up. I didn't tell them, like, none of them know that I like have a corporate finance job.
Oh, damn.
Right. So like, they don't even have a clue that like I'm doing that. So when I moved,
like two personas essentially. What, like you just go by like AP? Like do people know your like full name?
Yeah, that's it. No, people don't really even know my full name. Sometimes people ask, but I don't really like tell them, just because like we said, these are not people you want to like share that much detail.
Yeah,
I'm not hanging out with these guys. Like they invite me to the music video sessions. Like I'm not going to your video shoot because like, bro, shit goes down there. And
yeah, Pittsburgh hoods are like legit though. Like there's some gangsters there for sure.
There's some crazy shit going on there.
No doubt.
Even like McKeesport and like
horrible area.
All those areas around Pittsburgh too. It's shady. But
so is Andy like your video guy too?
I mean, I don't shoot videos for anything, but I will say that Andy was like one of those. He didn't shoot videos that often. I knew he made like 2 or 3 music videos. And I had a session with like Wandu that night. And Wandu's like, out of all those guys, I would say he's like the coolest one to record because I think he's pretty talented. And like he's not like afraid to hop on a beat that doesn't sound mainstream or anything. And so I invited Andy to that session. And I was like, yo, this is your video guy if you need videos. And then Andy took off. Then I was like here, we were like this when I introduced him, and Andy went like that. And I moved out of Pittsburgh and I'm out of the picture there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So
like,
he's like all in though in the craft, right?
He's totally all in. And like, bro, he can make some good bread off that too. If he books a lot of videos, it's just like, I could have made a living for myself off engineering at that studio. There's just not that much growth. And it's not like your money is like dependent on people showing up for sessions. So like, I don't know. I definitely always wanted to like pursue my normal career outside of this because I knew that like, in my early years, that was the best way for me to get to money quickly.
So like, since it's like, I mean, I feel like since you're in a corporate job, that stability, that's like what you value most in your 20s. You want to have a guaranteed paycheck. So is music for you a little bit more secondary, or are you not even looking at it that way?
Yeah, I mean, music's something that I would always have done either way. Like I'm always like at the end of the long work day, like go to the gym or whatever, but I'm going to come back to my laptop and like make beats.
So if it's a hobby, are you like, is this like type of hobby that you wouldn't mind becoming like your main thing? Because it seemed like when you were saying like you wanted to pursue your actual career, that's why I asked like the secondary question.
Right. Because like the way I see it now is every 13-year-old with internet access on a computer can make beats. And like, I've seen it happen countless times, dude. Like there are kids out here who are like 13, 14 who are making better beats on their phone than I make on my laptop. And it's just like, it's a fact. Like, you get kids who like have all their free time. Like they're not working 9 to 5. They just go to school. They can make 30 samples in a day to send out to a big producer. And like, I can't compete with that. Even though like for me, for those kids, every like 30 they make, I'll make 10. And out of those 10, I'll really fuck with like 6 or 7. And then like the other 3 or 4 are just kind of like, okay. And like those kids make probably like the same ratio. So it's just easier for them to get seen. They're in these people's inboxes more often. So if I had that time, I would like to do that. But I feel like I wanted to get to a point where like I'm seeing good money off producing before I like, quit my job or anything. Like I know guys who produce for like Lil Baby, Lil Yachty, these types of like big names, like the new Migos album that just dropped, like he has a placement on, he has like 2 songs on there, and you're already splitting your royalties, which is like not that much, with like 2 other producers who helped you like make the play. And then at the end of the day, you like barely make that much income off like a song that gets like a couple million streams, which sounds crazy. But he still like works a full day job, and like he obviously sees money off music, but like it really, you got to be killing it to make a living off of it. So it'd be sick to do. I would not want to engineer full time in a studio. That's not like a job that I could see myself doing. Like it's just too much waiting on people. And like, I hate waiting on people, and I hate like not being, they say you're your own boss there because you set your own schedule. But like at the end of the day, if you want to make money, you have to be on the other person's schedule.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
What's the process like for you when you're like making a beat? Like, are you like doing like 808s? Like, how are you incorporating it? Like, where do you start and then how do you finish? Or is it different process every time?
Yeah, it depends. Like if I'm with a bunch of guys cooking up, then we'll like someone else will like have a melody already ready, and they'll like, airdrop it. And then I'll just do drums and 808 on that and like section it out. Or I'll add something to the melody, and then someone else will hop on and do the drums. But when it's just me, like I've been trying to work on like making more interesting and like catchier melodies recently.
Yeah, it seems like you like bass. Like, I mean, I was bumping your shit in like a whip and like the bass.
Oh yeah. I like to make the 808 like the loudest thing in my mix. Yeah. It's like, and that's a big thing too, because when you send a rapper a beat, he's like 8 out of 10 times they're going to play it for the first time out of their phone. Mm-hmm. And so if it's not knocking on phone speakers, then like they're going to think it sucks. Cause like, people aren't going to pull out their Bose headphones for the first listen on your beats and like, oh, like hear the low end. So especially when I post beats on Instagram, I purposefully like, I'll distort the beat really hard. So the 808 sounds really loud. And then I'll roll it back when I like play it for a rapper in a studio. Cause like these speakers, those are like 7-inch monitors. Yeah. Like, if I play some of my beats that like sound really quiet on a phone on those, you'll like hear everything. And so that makes a big difference. So I usually like make the melody, do simple drums. I don't like go crazy with the drums because I think it's better when like you listen to like Drake songs, the hi-hats aren't like going crazy. And like, it's just simple, like 8th note hi-hat with the one clap, like nothing crazy. So I keep it simple with the drums, and then I just make the 808 the loudest thing basically.
True. Do you incorporate like any of like our like Desi Punjabi roots like into your beat, or have you like do you like stray away from that?
I feel like I've sampled a few Indian songs, like Bollywood songs, because like there's a lot of good like cuts that like that transfer really well into beats. But no, I never really like this is a good way to like segue back to like growing up. Like my parents didn't really force a ton of like our culture on me, and I wish they would have. Like for like going to Gurdwara and stuff, like Sikhism, religion in general, my parents never were like, pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Like they went to Gurdwara and they had their own conversations with the adults, and then they were like, okay, let's go home. And like, it wasn't like, I didn't go to like stay after and like learn and stuff. And so it was already such a long day for them. They're like, let's just go home. So I think if there was like Gurdwara in Harrisburg, like when I was growing up closer to us, I might have been more into it. And my dad definitely feels bad. My dad definitely is like, we should have taught you more about it. So like Punjabi music, like that's the one thing I regret the most is like when I was a kid, I didn't really listen to that much Punjabi music. I still don't. I'll listen to like
have you hopped on like the AP3 long wave and like
of course, like the Brown Monday and like stuff like that. Like I'm gonna hear it regardless. I'm gonna hear it wherever I go. So
but what they did is like so simple, and it just pisses me off. Like like they just threw like a hip hop beat and then threw like Punjabi lyrics on top.
That's all it is.
So simple, but like it hits so crazy.
Yeah, and that's what people want to hear now. Even in India, people want to hear like Travis Scott type shit.
Yeah.
And so like, that's the wave now. So
nobody was doing it like that. Nobody was doing like solely like hip hop beats. There's always like a little bit of like dole in there, a little bit of like drum. Now like that stuff is like extinguished. It's
gone. Yeah, which is crazy. But then people still make like that type of music too.
Yeah.
Now. So
Anmol, I got a question for you. Like thinking of plays where you're describing everything. Have you ever thought about like reaching out to like other brown, like obviously AP did a little bit like all other like brown rappers, and you can use like, your brown identity as like, foot in the door, or do you not like think about that kind of stuff?
I mean, like sometimes like there's a producer, Money Music. He's from like, Money Music. Yeah. He's from like Brampton, like Toronto. So like, obviously he's Punjabi and stuff. And like, he's like boys with Nav.
He's like Nav day one.
Yeah. And like, he'll post on his Instagram, like, oh, send samples here. I'll just send him the samples. I don't say anything like, yo, I'm Punjabi too or anything like that. Cause I don't think it's going to help
Dude, Brampton's are full of Punjabi people anyway. So
right.
It's, it's not normal to
There's
them.
a lot of like brown people in the industry though that like are low key. Like a lot of people who are like,
there's a good amount of engineers and stuff that are brown.
Yeah. And then like, there's this dude in Australia. His name's like Nagra Beats. Obviously he's Punjabi. His last name's Nagra. And like, bro, he's produced like so many huge hits for like Post Malone and like all these people. And like, you never know about him. So
yeah, there's I think 6 like Logic's like right hand man. He's like Punjabi too. It's like, is
he?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Pretty sure. I might be wrong, but like I saw like videos of him and he had like, I don't know. You can just tell when someone's like Punjabi, you know. Like I just
right.
But going back to like you're saying your dad like feels bad. Are you like maybe since you're so busy with like the music and actual work, have you like thought about like getting in touch with your roots, or is that like you just don't have time for that, or is that just like maybe down the road type of thing for you?
I mean, like I still feel like even though I wasn't religious, like going to Gurdwara and doing stuff in our community, that was like tradition. That was like my cultural identity and stuff. So I'm still close to that. Like when I go home, we still go to Gurdwara and stuff. And I'm definitely like, I speak Punjabi at home. I speak Punjabi with my grandparents. Like, it's not like I can't talk to my family, right?
Yeah.
If I go to India and stuff. It's not like that. But as far as like knowing stuff about like Guru Granth Sahib and Sikhi, I like don't know anything. And so I don't know. I'm just not religious. Maybe if sometimes people get religious when they get older. So maybe
none of us really are.
Yeah,
we had this discussion.
Like, I mean, like, we all cut our hair. Deech has more hair than all of us. And he's not even Punjabi.
I wanted to bring that up. When did you get rid of fucking comb over a mole?
Probably like a year and a half ago.
True. Yeah. I fuck with the shorter hair.
Appreciate it. Yeah, no, I got rid of that because it was just getting too long. Too much to keep up with.
So I don't know if this is covered, but like, do your parents know about like the music stuff, and have they listened to it? Or do they understand like what you're doing?
They don't really get it, I don't think. But when I tell them that someone paid me X amount of money to do something, they're like, oh, that's good. So if when it comes down to money, like you're not doing anything unless you're making money off of it to them. So it's like, whenever I showed them, I was like, I'm paying my rent in Pittsburgh, which is like humble because Pittsburgh's a low cost of living city. I was like, I can like live out here by myself off this music stuff. They were like, oh, that's good. Have fun. But they like never expected me to like, it wasn't a career option in their minds.
Yeah.
So.
Well, did your sister do like creative stuff too, or?
Not really. I would say I definitely had more of a creative edge when we were kids. Like I was like fucking around with cameras and like I knew how to like edit videos and edit pictures and stuff like that. I was like,
you used to mess around like Photoshop like decently, right? I don't know where I remember this. I remember you put up a picture. I think it was like you and Aman, and you like took away the chairs and it looked like you guys were like floating.
Yeah, stuff like that.
How the fuck do I have this in my head?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like posting that type of shit on Facebook all the time, like doing all these edits to like, just funny stuff. And basically like making memes before memes were a thing, right? So like that's like I was doing the video stuff and always had a creative like interest. And then music was the one where I was like, I don't know, freshman year of college, I was like not Diamonds Dancing, What a Time to Be Alive dropped. And I was like, bro, I want to be Metro Boomin. That's the craziest thing ever. He just did a tape with like 2 of the biggest artists, almost all his beats. Like that was my biggest inspiration. And then I noticed that I was like just doing a little bit of everything. I was like, I'm going to do like this graphic design in Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to do photography. I'm going to shoot videos. I'm going to make beats. And then, you can't like focus on one thing. So I just picked making beats out of all of them. But
do you design your like brand aesthetic, or does Mira do that?
Well, she has input, but I did a lot of it whenever I wasn't dating Mira, but now she does handle a lot of it.
Yeah. Like, is that something that you guys like connected with in terms of like bringing like relationship wise and stuff?
For sure. Yeah. She's like, she's killing it. Like she knows like all the design principles really well. And like, definitely will, like, I'll make something and she'll be like, you should try doing this and this and this. And then it'll, we put our minds together. So it definitely was like something we both had an interest in. Like design's cool in general. Like I like that type of like interior design or like whatever type of design it is, like architecture and stuff like that. I took a couple architecture classes at Pitt and they were pretty cool. So I'm into that type of stuff. It definitely like was an influence. And yeah, now if I need like a logo, I can just text her and be like, hey, can you put something together? And she makes dope stuff.
Yo, so looking back, do you ever wish that you went to like an audio engineering school to start? Like, do you regret anything you did at Pitt?
No, because most of those dudes, like, no disrespect, if you go to like Full Sail or something, like, you don't, first of all, you don't have to go to school to learn that stuff. Like, it's all on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like clowning myself paying that much money to go to that school. And like, they don't even really, from what I hear, like hook you up with like connections. So I did it like through a personal connection. Like, it was lucky, but it worked better than if I would have been, you know, at a school and like trying to do it from the school route. Like I already pretty much made it clear. I keep the school and the music separate. So school was like, you know, on a weekday, 9 to 5, I'm just like a corporate guy. And then like, if I go to a studio after that, like I don't talk about what I do for a living. I feel like I would lose a level of respect if like, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a corporate finance person. And I'm just here to make bread off you.
Yeah, you should make an intro for us.
I can. Actually, no, I have one. I have one that I can send you guys.
Oh, well, yeah, let's do.
Yeah. But yeah, you could drop a freestyle on your podcast.
Harvey's got it.
On trash on the mic.
I mean, Harvey, are you still doing like doing events and stuff? I mean, I guess it kind of got shut down for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, no, we've been live like ever since. Since I moved out to Cali, I took more like an administrative role, but like DJing and stuff is still prominent. Like we got events coming up this week. My brother actually has like started filling my role.
Okay, nice.
Have some other guys stuff too. But yeah, I mean, I love that shit too, man. Like yeah, just hearing a beat like that shit just like makes my hair stand up, like goosebumps.
Right.
Like
and like it's always been like part of like my passions. I always love music, so I definitely wanted to like learn how to make it.
Who are your like biggest inspirations? I mean, yeah, you brought up Metro, but like, would you have anybody else that you like kind of like aspire to be or inspire to be?
I would say like, you know, I was no, not so sweet. I was like in high school, I definitely listened to like Odd Future, and then like 2011, like Odd Future and A$AP Rocky. Both like were huge, and it was like A$AP Rocky's like first like the A$AP Mob tape, like Lords Never Worry. So like A$AP Rocky, all their producers, like Ty Beats, and then like Tyler the Creator making like crazy shit when he was doing like Odd Future stuff, and like I like some of his later albums too. So Tyler the Creator, I just respect that he like, you know, produced everything himself. P. Airborne, one of the big ones, one of the good.
He's pretty underrated. I feel like
he raps now too.
Yeah, he makes music now too, and some of his music's like pretty good. And then I'd say like, you know, then the like big producers, dude, like Metro Boomin's sick. There are a lot of like who's that?
Murda.
Yeah, Murda. Like there are a lot of guys who are slept on who like make a lot of the samples. Like there's this guy Jordan Fox, and he makes like 6 samples. Or like there's another dude Frank Dukes like made like the No More Parties in LA. He made like 0 to 100. He made so many tracks for the biggest artists. And like, those are the guys who are actually doing the music part of it. Like Boy Wonder obviously is like sick with the drums, but the sample is like most of what you hear in a song. So those are the dudes that I really look up to the most, like get inspired by.
Where would you put your like beats in terms of like genre? Or are you kind of still like trying to experiment with like different shit? Or do you think you have like one style that you kind of like to stick with?
I think I use a lot of like synths. Like you won't hear me make a lot of like guitar, piano beats. Cause like, I don't know how to play those instruments really. So like none of that like comes to my head naturally.
Yeah, I was listening to your beats, and I was telling Harvey, like, you don't really use like regular instruments and stuff.
No, I just use like synths and stuff, and like virtual instruments on the laptop. But that's like the easiest thing for me. And I think my beats probably fall into the category of like, virtual instruments, like sort of like Pierre Bourne, Young Nudie, like that type of like digital sound. And then like sometimes I force a piano beat, or I put one on that playlist, like a Young Thug, like a guitar beat, or like with piano and like strings and stuff. Cause like, that's what people want to hear. Yeah. That's like, what I learned a lot about in like the studio was like, people want to hear like the stuff they've already heard, which is why a lot of the guys who are using YouTube beats and stuff, they're trying to sound like someone else. Yeah.
Have you done that with your beats? Like, yo, you threw up like something on YouTube and this is like, yo, this is Young Thug beat.
For sure. That's a great way to like, if you grind that, but you got to like post daily with YouTube, you got to be like, make a post every day, know all the hashtag stuff, know how to like, promote it. And like, I did it for like, during the start of quarantine, I had all these beats I made like during studio sessions. And then I moved back home when COVID hit because there's no need to be in Pittsburgh. And like, I was just staying at home until my job started. And then I started doing that where I would post stuff on YouTube, but it just like, it's such a hassle, and you got to like make the video because you can't just put the audio file on YouTube. So you got to like have like a video with a picture, and I had no software, and like people didn't want to like pay for someone to do it. And it's just a headache. So I was like, fuck it.
Word, yo. Yeah, yo, this was dope.
Yeah, dude. Good talking.
Appreciate you calling on.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I'll do it again whenever.
Sick. Yo, does Amin do anything creative, or like, is this like kind of just you? Like,
it's basically it's just me, really.
In your childhood circle, like, were you the only one that went the creative route, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, like, I have friends who have interest in stuff like that, but no one actually like put in the time. Like Deech said, like a lot of times people would be like, let's chill, and I would be trying to like learn some shit on Ableton, and I'd be like, no, like I kind of want to do this.
That's dope.
And like, so I feel like not a lot of my friends had that in them to be like, oh, I'm gonna not go out this weekend and I'm gonna lock in and like learn how to paint or like do design stuff like Deech. Like, it depends. I feel like I meet less people who have the mindset to like not go with the flow and just do their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a hard trait to find in this day and age.
This day and age, especially in like college, people just want to party.
Yeah, facts.
So like it's hard to get away from that.
Mo, you want to plug yourself? Like, just like sure. put up your socials and all that.
Yeah. So my IG is at @1prod_AP. If you're trying to buy some beats, come shop. I got good prices. I won't screw you over. And I don't mix and master anymore. So.
All right, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Brown Boy Chronicles. We are available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Check us out on Instagram at The Brown Boy Chronicles, and feel free to email us with any questions or stories. The email is brownboychronicles1@gmail.com. See you next time.